Part 270. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2691. Anyway, now they have indeed earned a star core. That's the truth, and the rest are kind of bullshit. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, took a deep breath at this moment, and inexplicably let out a foul breath. Don't fix these useless. You were just lucky and won a little bit first, but as long as you continue to enter this gambling market, you will go bankrupt sooner or later. Don't go this crooked way. You will understand sooner or later. Sima Zhen reprimanded him with a serious face. With Bai Biao's temperament, he never took this kind of thing seriously. The attitude shown from beginning to end is also very clear. Cough. Teacher Sima, I won't argue with you when you say this, but, if these rules and regulations are applied to Fang Fan, it won't work. Just watch. As long as this guy plays, he won't lose. That's how arrogant. Why? The chance to win, I just missed it. Tisk tisk tisk. One handful is tens of billions. A few more, thousands of trillions of low-grade star cores are not suitable and cannot be obtained. It's still easier to come to the star core. Bai Biao chattered to the side, then glanced in Sima Zhen's direction. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, snorted coldly, looking upright. He felt that as a mentor, he had to have a bit of righteousness as a mentor. Sima Zhen turned his gaze over, just in time to see Tai Shujia walking over with a betting voucher. The complexion of Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, turned completely dark. Teacher Taishu, what are you doing? You are the head teacher of the first grade seed class. You have a bad influence. While Sima Zhen was talking, he said with a headache on his face. It's all come to this point, can you calm down a little bit? You are a tutor, or a head teacher, so if you don't want this image, you don't want it? Can we stop for a while? Doesn't this brain really hurt? It's fine for the students to mess around, and it doesn't matter if you don't reprimand them, but you can't lead by example and bet on the gamble. What are these ways? Whether the influence is good or not, as long as you can earn the star core, it is a good way. Teacher Sima, I don't dare to say the rest, but Fang Fan's bastard won 10 consecutive victories. That is to say, within 10 betting markets, he will definitely win. Let's just stop and watch. Uncle G stretched his waist, and while talking, he rubbed his hands together and said. For this precious apprentice, he just believes unconditionally. There is no way out. That's what I thought in my heart, and the rest of the things were completely terminated. That's probably all I think about. Invisibly, the emotional things increased. Uncle G has never been a dogmatic and rigid person. For him, it doesn't matter what method you use, as long as it works, that's enough. Being his disciple, respecting the teacher and emphasizing teaching is all false, as long as you can meet his requirements in terms of cultivation and combat strength, even if you give him a big mouth, it's okay. It's so arrogant. So let alone just betting on a gamble, Tai Shujia didn't care about the so-called mentor image at all. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2692. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, felt that the three views of himself and Tai Shujia were not compatible. The name of the necromancer is well deserved, and he doesn't care about the so-called former and later names at all. But if the winning rate can be guaranteed, it seems very exciting. No one would think that there are too many star cores. If this is an opportunity, who wouldn't want to enrich their wallets? Sima Zhen rolled his eyeballs, and then coughed slightly. There are some things that should be said or must be said, but the premise is not to harm one's own interests. As long as the interests are guaranteed, it doesn't matter if you mention other things casually. As soon as he thought of this, Sima Zhen couldn't help but change his breathing, and his thoughts gathered here, and he nodded quickly. Although the impact is not very good, it is not impossible to make some extra money by betting secretly. After all, where is Fang Fan's fighting power? If you can really earn some star cores, it would be great to donate all of them to the school for infrastructure construction. Actually, when you think about it carefully, what Bai Piao said is not unreasonable. As long as we win enough star cores, those gamblers will lose enough star cores. After repeated repetitions, we can help them get rid of their gambling addiction. To a certain extent, this is indeed a relatively positive thing. Sima Zhen nodded in agreement, thinking that no matter what, he had to find an excuse for himself. Otherwise, wouldn't it be too aggrieved to think about it? Thinking of this, the smile on Sima Zhen's face invisibly increased. On the arena, all the first rounders of the first-year seed class won. Needless to say, Kyle and Galen, as the heroes under Fang Fan's command, have experienced many battles, and each of them has some special ace skills. It is not a big problem to win on such an arena. As for ghosts, they were originally refined from the sanctuary of the fallen world, and they were born to fight, so it's not a big problem. In addition, there is a student in the first-year seed class who is also very skilled. A good start is always a good sign. The smiles on everyone's faces grew more and more. Needless to say anything else for the time being, the smiles on his face increased invisibly. This feeling, it seems extremely sincere. Probably such a gesture. These young children, whom the Colosseum audience looked down upon, won a complete victory. It caused an uproar in the audience. For these people, they are not reconciled, and even more unbelievable. They just feel that there is something tricky in it, so they want to roar all over. Everyone thinks this is a conspiracy in the Colosseum. A conspiracy to cut leaks in an all-round way. This group of people was definitely invited by the Colosseum on purpose. They don't look very good, but they are actually very powerful. They pretended to be weak, and then carried out a round of comprehensive harvest. Damn it, we were all cheated just now. There is something wrong with these youngsters. Nowadays, the Colosseum doesn't talk about martial arts. You boil frogs in warm water and harvest them slowly, right? Come on with such a big stick, who can hold it? I don't want to say anything extra, it's just so disgusting. Why, it's useless. Hey, the world has changed. People's hearts are not old. Let's do the opposite this time, and vote for those youngsters to win. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2693. In the Colosseum, one after another insolent voices came. Needless to say the rest, this gesture is very pure. All of them seem to be crazy, baring their teeth and claws, for fear that others would not know their existence. Master, my husband won't be seduced by that Catwoman. I'm worried, I'm afraid. After all, this guy is romantic. Xiao Liyulai stood under the arena, and while talking, she couldn't help showing a nervous look on her face. From Xiao Liyulai's point of view, Fang Fan is not a good thing. Anyway, doing things every time. If you see a beautiful woman, you can't walk, and if you see one, you will accept one. It's probably the purest look. What are you thinking? Who do you think Fang Fan is? Although he is said to be a little unrestrained, he can still figure out what the situation is. In your little head, what are you thinking about? While talking, Murong Yu stretched out his tender fingers and tapped Xiao Liyulai's forehead. Humph, I'm just worried. This guy just doesn't stop. Xiao Liuli groaned twice and then said from the side. By the way, Master, this is the betting voucher. Master, you have a lot of star cores, and you actually invested 50 billion low-grade star cores. Why can our students only bet 100 million low-grade star cores? It's so unfair. Xiao Liuli wrinkled Xiao Qiang's nose, and while talking, she complained from the side. This is also a kind of protection for you students in the Colosseum. If you lose too much, how can you bear it? Mirongyu shook his head, then said with a smile from the side. No. Wait, why didn't I understand? You cast 50 billion low-grade star cores? Bet on that bastard to win. Aren't you too reckless? 5 billion. How did you get so many star cores? This is your entire net worth. Ding Ling, the middle-aged beautiful tutor, stared wide-eyed and said in disbelief. The Mirongyu in her impression was always very cautious. And I have never been very interested in this kind of gambling, because I have already understood that it is false. Why now? Why did you change your attitude now? Is this a big gap from what you expected? Especially now that I think about it, I always feel that there are many problems in it. I forgot to remind you just now. When the next round of betting starts, you should place your bets too. Although the odds have dropped a lot now, I won't lose. You just need to bet on Fang Fan to win. Mirongyu shrugged, then said with a smile. She is considered to be the earliest contact with Fang Fan in the school. She could clearly see Fang Fan's progress and treachery. She knows more or less how many hole cards Fang Fan has. Regarding why Fang Fan went to the Beast Arena, Mirongyu was extremely clear. This guy has never been unprofitable. If it wasn't for Tai Shuji's mentor who promised that as long as he can win 10 consecutive victories in the Colosseum, he will get 1,000,000 credits, this guy would definitely not be able to succeed. Since there are interests involved, Fang Fan will go all out at least until he wins 10 games in a row. In this case, victory is inevitable. Mirongyu narrowed his eyes and looked at Fang Fan, his eyes were full of infinite warmth. Although this guy is indeed a bit unprincipled at times, he has never disappointed her. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2694. On the arena, Fang Fan's eyes fell on the cat-eared girl, seeing his sneering, subconsciously curled his lips. Good guy. What about doing something with him at this time? This wave after wave, is it going to take off or what? Arrogance. Or crazy? Floating. One punch, one buzzer. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, and the infinite killing intent in his eyes suddenly burst out. As the cat-eared girl and she got closer and closer to Fang Fan, her figure became more and more enchanting. Needless to say anything else, this gesture is very pure. Taking a glance at the past, it is probably such an extraordinarily real appearance. Fang Fan waved his fist, and then started a full-scale journey of punching and screaming. Hit it with a fist. Straight to the eyebrows of this girl with cat ears. At this critical moment, the cat ear girl's body suddenly bounced back. So at this moment, Fang Fan's fist directly deviated from the original position, and directly hit the cat ear girl's chest. Boom. The beautiful visual impact is instantly wrapped in flesh and blood. After scanning the past, the eyeballs instantly widened. Is this wave about to take off? Ah! My boobs! It exploded. The cat-eared girl suddenly let out a particularly sharp roar, and her body trembled unnaturally. While talking, the gesture of gnashing his teeth is particularly real. Needless to say anything else, this gesture is particularly pure. A wave of thoughts gathered here, and everything disappeared completely. Burst. Break out. Take off. The extreme pain in the chest hit, and the crazy roar of the cat-eared girl was very real at this moment. The surrounding audience were instantly dumbfounded. What the hell, why are you willing to punch? The speed of this punch has never slowed down. Such a perfect cat-eared girl, was beaten and crippled just like that. Is this the reaction a normal man should have? The cat-eared girl's chest was directly smashed, and at this moment her body was curled up in the corner of the arena, and her eyes gradually flickered and killed. The hatred in my heart immediately exploded. But she also felt Fang Fan's combat power just now. She will die if she is head to head. So now she can only hold on, continue to hold on. You must take advantage of your physical and gender advantages. The cat-eared girl and she rolled her eyes, and then collapsed on the ground with a tender face. Good brother, you hurt him so much. Good brother, and she is wrong, and she will never dare again, and she submits to your majesty, and she only wants to be your slave girl, and she only hopes to serve you properly. Good brother, can you give me this chance? Good brother, and she can do everything. Good brother, you can make troubles as you like. And she surrendered. Both cat-eared girls and fox-eared girls are recognized as charming groups. Especially the female clansmen of these ethnic groups, who are naturally charming, give people a sense of endless seductiveness invisibly. Needless to say about other things for the time being, this feeling followed in place virtually. This time, thoughts are gathered here, and my brain is buzzing. If a normal person encounters this situation, he may fall into it instantly. This glance glanced at the past, and the touch was very strong. As for Fang Fan, he just glanced indifferently. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2695. It can only be said that he has seen too many characters. That's it, not much thought at all. Especially now that the cat-eared girl and she's biggest reliance, her chest has been blown up. Looking at the past, no matter how charming and affectionate this cat-eared girl and she is on the surface, she is not a big deal to Fang Fan. What? In general, I didn't care about anything at all. This feeling is very pure. Fang Fan's gaze was clear from beginning to end. There is no hiding place for any monsters and ghosts in front of him. Probably such a very direct touch. Fang Fan folded his arms around his chest, watching the cat-eared girl and she showing a seductive posture in front of his eyes, and then pretended to be very interested. The downcast eyes of the cat-eared girl and she shone brightly. At this moment, her body and mind were trembling, and her breathing became imperceptibly rapid. Here's your chance. She thought that Fang Fan had been fooled by her weak gesture. Then this moment is his chance. If you can seize this opportunity, then you can take off in one wave. Thinking of this, the cat-eared girl and she's face became more and more excited. At this moment, she is like a hunter charging up, ready to strike her prey with a fatal blow. It's just that sometimes the positions of the hunter and the prey may be directly swapped. Go to hell. And she, the cat-eared girl, let out a roar, and the speed became faster and faster, and the murderous aura all over her body exploded. At this moment, the sound of breathing has become extremely rapid, and the gesture of swallowing saliva while talking is very real. Angie's claws are her sharpest weapons at the moment, and the claws are 3 inches long. Just like the bony daggers, it gives people a sense of endless panic in consciousness. Needless to say anything else, this feeling will explode invisibly. Angie's claws directly attacked Fang Fan's neck. As long as she scratches her once, the toxins on her body can directly invade Fang Fan's body, and he will definitely die by then. Angie, the cat-eared girl, showed a sense of revenge on her face. Let you explode my chest. That's the price. Men are all alike. They are all big pig's hooves. Even if you acted so righteously and calmly at the beginning, wouldn't you still surrender to my beauty in the end? It is also romantic to die under the peony flower and be a ghost. It can be regarded as fulfilling your death wish. And she, the cat-eared girl, thought of this in her heart, and the smiles on her face grew more and more. But gradually, the expression on her face changed. Something is wrong. This is not right. There is a problem here. Ah! And she, the cat-eared girl, let out another roar subconsciously, and then she saw her two paws being directly grabbed by Fang Fan. The sarcasm and smile on Fang Fan's face are particularly pure. She was hummed. This guy is pretending from beginning to end. He was not fooled by his appearance at all, he was sober from the beginning to the end. Hunting geese all day long, I never expected to be pecked by geese in the end. Careless. The cat-eared girl and she's eyeballs rolled around, and her breathing became imperceptibly rapid. At this moment, thinking secretly in my heart, the expression on my face changed more and more quickly. Good brother. What are you doing? I just want to play a joke with you. Oh, you hurt me. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2696. The cat-eared girl and she has not forgotten her housekeeping skills even at this time. While talking, the charming look on his face became more and more. Needless to say anything else, this feeling seems quite real. Taking a random glance, Fang Fan had to admire the perseverance of this cat-eared girl. Is it? I was just joking with you too. Your claws are too long, I'll pull them out for you. Hey, hold on tight and don't wave. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth raised slightly, and while he was talking, his eyes flickered with a different kind of brilliance. This time the thoughts gathered here, and the facial expressions changed very quickly. Immediately, Fang Fan pulled out one of the claws of the cat-eared girl and she very quickly. It's the kind of uprooting without any hesitation. Anyway, just go up and do it, without any panic. Ah! Ah! My hand, my hand. Ah 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 ah. You crazy, crazy. I'm already like this, why don't you know how to pity the fragrance and cherish the jade? If you pull out my claws, you might as well kill me. Angie, the cat-eared girl, frowned, her tail straightened up, and while she was talking, the look of resentment on her face grew more and more. Needless to say about other things for the time being, this feeling followed in place virtually. It's really interesting to glance at the past. Oh. Then if your wish is fulfilled, let me kill you. Fang Fan nodded, and then waved his fist the size of a sandbag, ready to beat the cat-eared girl to death with one fist. Hee hee. Isn't it too late to think of killing me now? Tisk tisk tisk. You are dead. Although you are not a womanizer, you underestimate the enemy. You are too confident. You are dead. Are my paws that easy to touch? GGG. Angie, the cat-eared girl, suddenly yelled excitedly, her lips were trembling as she yelled, and the black lines on her forehead were fully penetrated. At this moment, the sound of breathing also became imperceptibly rapid, and while talking, he nodded and bowed quickly. Needless to say the rest, the changing facial expressions are wonderful. Fang Fan was stunned for a moment, and then looked at his arm, which was turning completely bruised at the moment. This bruising is still spreading gradually, and soon spread to his face. At this moment, it was hitting my nerve center. Fang Fan was stunned for a moment. This toxin has something. Fang Fan took a look at Anchi, the cat-eared girl, especially at her paws, and the smile on his face grew more and more. This pair of claws is a good thing. If this toxin is used well, it may have a different effect. Fang Fan rolled his eyes, then walked 2 steps forward, and continued to look at this cat-eared girl, and she. Surrender to me. Work for me. I keep you alive. Otherwise I will pull out all your claws and kill you. Fang Fan said bluntly, his eyes flickered in a different way as he spoke. Straight to the point, can also save many steps in the middle. Angie, the cat-eared girl, was taken aback for a moment, and then her face was full of astonishment. Are you a fool? Are you crazy? You have been poisoned by my cat. You are dead. In less than 3 minutes, you will die from the withering of flesh and blood. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2697. Angie, the cat-eared girl, held her head high and held her chest high. While talking, the excitement on her face was beyond words. From her point of view, she thought she had grasped Fang Fan's weakness and completely defeated him. It won't be long before the arrogant man in front of him will die of poison. And she will win this competition, and she will also get a huge commission. Thinking of this, and she, the cat-eared girl, felt inexplicably clear. Comfortable. It's so comfortable. The whole person was in a trance, and the feeling in his heart exploded invisibly at this moment. Thoughts gathered here, and the light in the eyes grew more and more. At this moment, there was a sound of sighing in the audience. Many people who voted for Angie, the cat-eared girl, have experienced ups and downs, but now they are still determined, and the whole person becomes relaxed, feeling inexplicably comfortable and comfortable. Needless to say anything else, this feeling becomes more comfortable invisibly. As long as you can win the Star Corps, other things are not a big deal. That beast fighter named Jean Tien is actually pretty good in his own right, but it's a pity that he was too crazy, and finally fell into the trap of the cat-eared girl and she. Hey, that bitch has too many routines, who in the average man can bear such torture? This Jean Tien can be regarded as a ruthless person, even this and Chi's chest was smashed, but it's a pity that the final result still can't be changed, basically it's useless. It's as simple as winning and losing. If you get poisoned by the cat-eared lady and Chi, you'll definitely die. At most 3 minutes, don't let me take your last name. A series of noisy sounds came, and the excitement on everyone's faces was beyond words. At this moment in the audience, Xiao Liyulai and Lu Jiyi saw Fang Fan's whole body gradually turning purple, and the worried expressions on their faces were beyond words. Master! It's over. My husband is poisoned. What to do? I'm so worried about him. How is your husband? Your husband won't have any problems. Master, let's go up and save my husband. Little Liyulai's eyes were full of worry, while speaking, her lips twitched unnaturally, her thoughts gathered here, and then she shrank her neck. This wave completely followed the panic. The sense of panic in my heart exploded immediately. The posture of gnashing teeth is vividly displayed. Needless to say the rest for the time being, this feeling followed in place virtually. Although Lu Jiyi didn't say much, the tension in her eyes was beyond words. Sometimes facial expressions speak louder than any words. Don't worry. Didn't you see that the guy didn't have any nervous look on his face at all? This shows that he didn't care about this poison at all. Don't worry, this toxin may be fatal to ordinary sanctuary practitioners, but it's nothing to him. For it. How should I put it, he has some very special healing treasures in his hand. Murong Yu pondered for a while, and then followed up from the side. Now he can't speak too directly, he can only express his meaning vaguely. It's very special, a healing treasure. I remembered. Last time, Master, you were tossed into a human form, and then your husband used a card for you, and you were alive again. Xiao Liyulai's eyes lit up, and she nodded quickly and said. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2698. This is pure nonsense. But sometimes the lethality of these unintentional words is still very large, at least at this moment everyone's eyes are rolling directly. Needless to say the rest for the time being, this feeling is particularly real. When Murong Yu heard Xiao Liulai telling the truth here, his face turned red subconsciously, and then he gave Xiao Liulai an angry look. Don't talk nonsense. Look at the Colosseum. Murong Yu let out a breath of foul air, and glanced around with guilty eyes, feeling his scalp numb for no reason at this moment. The rest of the feelings followed invisibly, and my brain was completely cracked. It feels so real. At this moment, Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, seemed a little restless. He just convinced himself that he lost his entire fortune and bet on Fang Fan. Then I just waited here. If Fang Fan can win, his assets will double. At first, it was very stable, but I didn't expect that Fang Fan's whole body would start to turn purple when he saw this. There was even a feeling that his whole body was going to turn green. It seems that something is not right. What kind of trouble is this going to do, and can it be stopped? This time, he glanced over, and the black lines on his forehead grew more and more. If Fang Fan loses this competition, he will really go bankrupt. Gambling is really not a good thing. I believed that boy Bai Biao's nonsense back then. Why? I think I have gambled before, and I hate this thing. Now, how did it become like this now? I'm not reconciled, I'm not reconciled. How can it be so, how can it be so? Too difficult. I've worked so hard to accumulate star cores for tens of thousands of years, and I'll ruin it once. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, had a look of heartache on his face, and then he glanced forward, seeing that Tai Shuja and Bai Biao didn't have any nervous expressions on their faces. If he remembers well, these two guys also bet a lot. Basically, they are fighting with their family property. It's all like this, so you really don't care at all? Talking and laughing with great Confucianism. No messy airs, no paperwork? Anyway, very calm. Sima Zhen endured it for a long time, but in the end he couldn't hold it back, and then he let out a breath of foul breath and walked forward. What's going on with you? Aren't you nervous at all? I'm about to go bankrupt, can you still laugh? Isn't Fang Fan still your great Uncle Ji's beloved disciple, and your good brother Bai Biao? It's all plastic love. Sima Zhen let out a breath, feeling a little headache for no reason. Mr. Sima, you are a little too nervous. As far as the situation is concerned, my apprentice can control it in minutes. Why are you so nervous? Steady your mind, it's not a big problem. If you can't even stabilize this kind of scene, are you still qualified to be my apprentice? Don't worry, a cat-eared girl, my apprentice won't capsize in the gutter. Grand Uncle Ji waved his hand, looking very confident. Sima Zhen was speechless. What if there is an accident? Where did this confidence come from? Are you really not afraid of an explosion? Overconfident, really good. Sima Zhen glanced at the expression on Bai Biao's face again, he was too lazy to say anything now. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2699. Before Sima Zhen could ask, Bai Biao himself continued to chatter, ha ha ha. This time I expanded the number of bettors under my command, I bet a total of more than 30 billion low-grade star cores, but unfortunately only one pays 2.2. The odds are, oh, it's a pity, but this wave can earn nearly 40 billion low-grade star cores. I can't eat a big fat man in one bite. In all aspects, I still have to be steady. Other problems are not big. Continue to earn blood in the next one. Continue to expand the number of bettors in the next one. I hope the betting ratio of the next hand can be stabilized. Following this trend, I may be able to save 1 trillion low-grade star cores in this black-hearted coliseum, which is equivalent to 10,000 high-grade star cores. It's gone. Master, Instructor Sima. It's that simple to earn star cores. Bai Piao's eyeballs followed, and while talking, he nodded and bowed quickly and said, and then let out a mouthful of turbid air. The excitement in his heart could not be expressed in words. Anyway, I am very excited in my heart, and it is difficult to express it in any words. A wave followed and took off directly. Seeing Bai Piao's excited look, Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, was completely speechless. That's it? Your brother is about to be poisoned to death, and you are still calculating how many star cores you can win? Are you even going to set a small goal of 1 trillion yuan? Seeing that Fang Fan was about to be poisoned to death, how could he be confident that he would definitely win? Where does self-confidence come from? Why didn't you understand at all? On the contrary, I feel that this wave is very explosive. Anyway, somehow I feel a little sand sculpture. You are really not afraid that Fang Fan will have an accident? That girl with cat ears, and she, is not that simple. The toxins on her body are all mutant toxins. Even if it's an ordinary sage strongman, it might not be easy. Fang Fan is only one star in the middle of the sanctuary, so you can rest assured. Otherwise, it is better to quickly organize and save people, or it will be really too late. Sima Zhen can't even think about his own star core now, and now the elites who want to keep the academy are tight, and life-saving comes first. If an academic elite like Fang Fan died on the arena, it would be hard to say. And what a pity. Need not. Don't worry, this kid has a lot of tricks. Let's just stay here silently and watch, just don't make trouble for him. It doesn't matter if we can't help, but don't help us. I know my apprentice. That's how he is. Uncle G stretched his waist, and while talking, he couldn't help showing a casual and calm expression on his face, and his eyes flickered with a special kind of brilliance as he spoke. Needless to say about other things for the time being, this feeling followed in place virtually. You master and apprentice are really a perfect match. The emperor is not in a hurry and the eunuchs are in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry, I'm in a hurry with a hammer. If something really happens later, I'll see how to deal with it. Sima Zhen exhaled foul breath, while talking, then rolled his eyes angrily. There is absolutely nothing to say now. They're all making hammers. Play. If human life is involved, there is no hour. Is it because Fang Fan's combat power is too confident? Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2700. Sima Zhen glanced around for a few times, carefully scrutinized the expressions on Tai Shuja and Bai Piao's faces, and found that they were really not worried. If you want to say that you don't worry about the star core in your hands, it's alright. After all, this kind of money is something outside your body. But it can't be too sloppy, right? This is so. Don't care about anything? Why is it so beautiful? This boo, it's completely like hanging and beating all dissatisfied. The two of them believed in Fang Fana completely. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, licked his lips, and let out a mouthful of foul air helplessly. Too difficult. My brain is buzzing. At this moment, he can only focus all his eyes on the arena. In case of any accident, he can always run up to stop the wave. It can't just be cold and thin. The whole body began to change from blue-purple to green. This green is getting greener. This really happened. What kind of trouble is this trying to make? The whole wave exploded. It's really going to kill me. Sima Zhen let out a breath, the nervous expression on his face was beyond words. Needless to say the rest, this feeling is very real. As he was talking at the moment, his eyes shrank subconsciously, and his lips twitched slightly. On the beast arena, Fang Fan looked at the cat-eared girl and Qi in front of him, and the playful look on his face became more and more. A wave of feelings, directly in place. Needless to say other things for the time being, the feeling is extremely calm. Fang Fan did see a few paws of the cat-eared girl and Qi. If the toxin contained in these paws can be used properly, it may have miraculous effects. After all, Fang Fan can feel the toxicity. It is also because of this that Fang Fan wants to accept the cat-eared girl and Qi. At this moment, the gleam in Fang Fan's eyes grew more and more, and needless to say the rest, this feeling exploded invisibly. Surrender to me, you can live. This is your last chance. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, and the murderous intent gathered in them wantonly. Last chance. Are you really stupid or fake stupid? You are poisoned. You are poisoned by my cat. You're going to die soon. Don't you feel the changes in your body? Originally, the whole body turned purple, but now it has also turned green. In another minute, these toxins will directly enter the sea of consciousness. At that time, even the true God will not be able to save you. You're cold. You're really cold. Tisk tisk tisk. The victory of this competition belongs to me. You are bound to die. And Qi, the cat-eared girl, raised her head very high while talking, and now she just needs to wait for Fang Fan to cool down. At that time, she will be able to harvest everything she wants to harvest. When I think of this, my whole body becomes clear. The feeling becomes inexplicably comfortable. Toxin. You don't really think this thing hurts me much, do you? If you want to get rid of this low-level toxin, don't you just need a hand? What is this worth? Isn't this your biggest reliance? Ah, this. You really think too much. Fang Fan waved his hand with a proud expression on his face. At this moment, it is necessary to cause a huge psychological suppression in the heart of this cat-eared girl.